Hello, YouTube model railroader fans, model railroading live fans, and everybody else out there in the world watching the goofball. I'm Ray. Welcome to the Boeville Newtown's vlog number 13 for March. Do I really want to make this one number 13? It is March. Maybe I'll make it 14. I don't know. Anyway, welcome to vlog number 13 for 2020. It just so happens to be Friday, March the 20th. Friday, March the 20th. I should be bowling. But because of, as Sparky put it, the showstopper, I'm down here in the train room, aka the basement. As you all know, went through on the last vlog and actually finished up all the main line wiring, at least underneath the layout. I still have to drop the feeders and things of that nature. But I figured while I had the opportunity, because I'm not sure if I've actually got enough parts to do what I need to do, and I don't know when I'm going to be able to get them, I figured I'd go and work on something else that actually needs to be done so that I can actually get to my rolling stock and actually utilize the 2 yards as they are, to where I'm not just cycling things on the tracks. I'm actually able to drop things underneath. I'm going to build at least two of the shelves, hopefully. Maybe not get them all done tonight, but at least get something started. I've got enough parts to do 3 shelves, and I actually think I've got some other stuff floating around in the storage area. I might be able to do 4, so I'd be able to do 2 on the north side, 2 on the south side, which for the time being would be plenty. Shouldn't be too bad, and these are going to be about 2.5 feet wide. So, and I'm not sure exactly how deep I'm going to make them yet, but they might be 2.5 feet wide and 2.5 feet deep. Well, that's pretty good. That'll give me plenty of room to put some stuff. So, I've already got, as you can kind of see over here on the railroad, I've already gotten some lumber set up and the parts, and I got my drilling all set up over here. So I'm going to attempt to go ahead and start drilling some holes here, and we'll go from there. We'll be back. Well, it's now Saturday. March 21st. I should do this. And I'm actually using the single-legged tripod here, or the single-legged camera holder here at the moment here, because I finally finished working on what I started last night. And it kind of worked out a little bit differently than originally planned. Of course, again, everything I do never goes according to plan. So I'm going to go ahead and flip the viewfinder here and turn the camera around. And hey, look at that. We're behind the layout. And underneath here is now the beginnings of my shelf. My pull-out shelf for putting the cars and locomotives from on top to layout underneath. I built one. I don't quite have enough to build the second one. And what it is I'm actually standing on what would be the Richmond or the southbound yard side. So this area here would be for the southbound. That area over there would be for the northbound. Now, yeah, there's a big gaping hole here right now. That's because I haven't put in what I want to put in. So, you know what? Let me go grab that. We'll be right back. Well, remember how we talked about best laid plans don't always work? Well, I didn't account for the thickness of the box. So I had to move the shelf into the lower area. But this gives you an idea. Right now I've got nothing but box cars and hopper cars sitting in here, but this is the start. And eventually I'll go ahead and I'll shuffle things here a little bit, and then I'll actually get, it wasn't supposed to be, these aren't supposed to be this thick, but I'm just using the boxes for now. Eventually it will be a set of shelves, an actual set of shelves with the foam just laid in there. So, but that would be for the north yard, and this one here would be for the south yard. Alright, it is now Wednesday, March 25th, and I know this thing's swinging a little bit because I'm sitting here on the single-legged camera holder, and there's a reason, because I've done a couple things here, and I'm going to go ahead and swing the camera, and at the same time I'm going to swing the viewfinder here. Okay, we're looking at the hidden yards, and yes, there's a big bucket of drywall screws sitting there. That's because I've got a problem with a piece of track, and I'm trying to see if this is going to fix it. If not, I do have some extra track still up in the garage on that other 4x8 that I picked up. So we're going to try this first. If this doesn't work, then I'll go start ripping that apart. And I did something else here. I've actually got the coal train staged on the southbound, or the Richmond yard going north. And on the northbound yard getting ready to go south, I've actually got a freight train, boxcar freight train sitting here, which is going to interchange with the hidden, or I should say the interchange track, and then of course the fascia flat, which isn't there. There's a story behind that, and that's the fact that a while back I was doing some work out here, forgot I was there, hit it, and it ended up hitting the floor. So it needs to be repaired. Story of my life. Now, one of the other things that I was working on this week, I kind of mentioned it. I was going to put a shelf over top of these yards, and it just so happened that I took some shelving down that was in the garage, and they had these wonderful L brackets. And these are those wonderful pressed metal style brackets. I had 3 of them, so I've got 3 of them sitting on the back side here, and eventually I'll get up into the garage and I'll start doing some cutting on some wood so I can actually put the shelving up on that. I'm going to go ahead and just go all the way around the layout here. Still waiting on the rest of my road bed to come in. Haven't talked about this. That'll be in a future episode, a future vlog. Of course, we did talk a little bit about Boeville Yard and the stuff that was going on over here, and I had to make yet another little change. The maintenance away will now sit on that one little siding track there, instead of over here, because I realized that longer locomotives are going to need just about all of that corner here to be able to get out of the roundhouse or the diesel facility, which was another mistake that I happened to think about. That just happened to pop into my brain, and that is the fact that if I decided I want to run a steam engine out of here, I got to leave a track open. Because obviously you're not going to steam up a steam locomotive and then have it sit on on this outbound track here where these diesels are sitting. That's not going to happen. So more than likely it would get steamed up, and then it would go ahead and come right out over here, and then, you know, it would go ahead and go on its merry way. I do have a train staged in here as well. That one there with the caboose, the feather, the Western Pacific, the DTI, the Main Central. This one here is actually set up to leave. I think it was actually, looking at it, it's going to be headed southbound. So it was actually headed into Richmond, or would be headed into Richmond. How can I tell that? Because the caboose is on this end. If the caboose were on that end, then it would be headed north. But it's on this end, that means it's going to be headed south. So I forgot I should have left the light on over here. Oops. I had talked about doing my next live show, which would be this weekend, Sunday the, what did I say, 29th? Sunday the 29th at 8 p.m. or 7:30, 8 p.m., somewhere in there. I think it's going to be, I think I set it up for 8. I'm probably going to try and do it from over here. I'm hoping to get some things finished before then. If not, that's what that's what I'll be working on. One of the other things that I finally finished up is this little dude down here. If you notice, there's all the wiring for the layout. That is because this bridge, and I can walk on it, but I finally went ahead and did put the screws into it so the 2x4s underneath wouldn't slide out down there. This hides, I shouldn't say hides the wiring going to the layout. It more or less is protecting it. So that way it's not being stepped on, so on and so forth. And of course this here is the overhead lighting, which obviously is nowhere near being set up yet. But all the wiring that you see here is the wiring for, or the electric for the layout. Like I said, needless to say, we're not done yet. It's not into the electrical panel, which just so happens is behind door number 4. Sorry, I just shook it. Yep, that's not gonna work. Hey, there we go. So, yeah, just so that you all get an idea here, this is the bar. There we go. And there's a door outside down here. But I obviously, like I said, I don't drink, although there is some alcohol sitting down there. That is stuff that was either given to us or stuff that I used to drink, which I don't anymore. I can't handle it anymore. My stomach just doesn't do well with liquor. I can drink wine, just can't do beer and liquor anymore. It just messes my stomach up too much. But anyway, so hopefully Sunday, we'll see what happens, but this may be the view that you get. All right, I've still got a few things to finish up this week, so stay tuned. Well, here we are. It's now Thursday the 26th. And I appear to have created my own monster. And what I mean by that is the fact that I was looking at putting in the blocks. And I came across something that I'm not sure how I'm going to correct it. And that is the fact that on the fascia, or what will be the fascia down here, I wanted to put these DPDT center offs. Now, there's a couple ways of doing it. One would be just to go ahead and cut the board out and mount the switches to something and mount it from the back side, and that way everything's, because I don't want anything sticking out past the edge of the layout here, because this is a walkway. There's you've got a bedroom down here, you've got the laundry room down here, there's going to be people walking past here constantly. So I don't want anything protruding out of the layout, which means I have to recess it. Well, I was toying around with using a piece of pegboard and just mounting it from the backside, but that would mean, like I said, I'd have to cut a fairly substantial piece out of here to do what I want to do, because not only do the switches have to be here, but the connections have to be out here as well. And I guess I can let the cat out of the bag on that one. I'm planning on doing walk around throttle DC wise. So if you notice, when I was building the layout, there's places for electrical plugs. That's power for the handheld throttles. And then when I actually do this, when I actually get to the point when I get the connections that I want, they'll actually be on the front of the layout here as well. So, but I need to find some way of mounting up these switches to where they're not protruding past the front of the layout. Like I said, that was one way of doing it, would be just to go ahead and cut the 2x4 that's out here and put that on the back side. I actually was thinking about drilling into the 2x4 and just having a hole that you would just stick it in and flip. But the more I played around with that, I'm like, that ain't gonna work, because there isn't gonna be enough beef on the back side of this to be able to hold the switch in place. In other words, you know, there's only so much thread there. So that gets a little thin. So I'm kind of at an impasse with that. I was hoping maybe I could go ahead and get my blocks in so I could do some other things tonight, because I've actually got things set up to actually do some switching. And, well, I really can't do that if I don't have my blocks and dead tracks in place. So, one of the other things I started doing tonight, because I actually got my other box of road bed, is I actually started marking the center line, and boy, what a tedious pain in the rear end that is. I never realized how much of a pain in the butt it would be to go ahead and mark the center line of freaking track. I've got maybe 6 feet of it done. So, still looking to set things up for the sidetrack Sunday this weekend, the 29th. So, we'll see what happens with that. I don't know. I think at this point I'm going to go ahead and stop the vlog, because I'm going to try and do some other things here. So anything that I do past right now will just be a part of vlog. I guess it'll be 14. Or maybe be a part of Sidetrack Sunday, either way. So, but you all know the deal. Wait for the highball, green tracks ahead. We'll catch you all next time. Be safe, God bless. See ya.